Good morning, 3rd of February. Here we are at the den in Ashton, K&R Walsh Brothers of Manchester. And this is the day when the cab will be going on to the chassis of the BD-2. 3 months on, this is how far the guys have got. We've employed Tricky, who's come down with his motor. Fabulous giant IAB on the back of this, which will virtually lift anything, including our sponsor's wallet. So there'll be the challenge to use the IAB, which will be going into the body and raising it above, dropping it back down onto the chassis of the BD-2. The Leyland engine already in place, everything done as much as they can possibly do now on the chassis. A little bits and pieces to do, but Ray has done a fantastic job of the cab to bring it up to speed in record time, so that the cab can actually go on top of the chassis. Obviously the chassis has to be brought out of the den now here at Ashton, because the cab won't be able to be mounted inside the shed. As you can see, the doorway is far too low to actually fit the cab inside the den, so it's going to have to come outside and be placed onto the chassis itself. So we're starting off with the IAB, which is going to be moving the back end of the chassis of the BD-2 over into position where the rest of the work will be done by Ray and Ken. Try and cover everything as much as we possibly can. Sorry about the engine noise. See if we can get it to a different position for you so it doesn't affect the engine. Sorry for my hand in the way there. The idea at the moment now is going to be that the crane on the IAB, I just climbed up, is going to be lifting the back end over into position here at the den. And then the next situation is going to be where inside the den, I can do this for you as best as I can. See the lads sweeping the floor and getting the cab ready to be coming out on skids. You've got Ken Walsh in centre field there. Notice the health and safety side of K&R Walsh Brothers. They're all wearing the high vis. Got one of our sponsors there, Steve, who's just on the right hand side picking stuff up, putting it into bin bags. Tricky down here, who's operating this IAB manually and also through the remote. Known as Tricky by K&R Walsh Brothers. So as you can see, strapping it up, ready to lift it across into position. We were here about 6 o'clock this morning. Get a nice early start, just so you viewers can have a look at what actually goes on here at all times of the day. Once again, beautiful day here at the den, or a beautiful morning I should say, here at the den, K&R Walsh Brothers. Here we go now, Tricky just moving it across. Fabulous piece of equipment this, unbelievable bit of kit. Great reach on it. That's the back end over. All done by remote. It's clever stuff, you know, nowadays what can be done. Saves all less trouble. A deep conversation breaking out now between Tricky and Ray. Major decisions to be made. Ken involved now. Yeah, I'm sure it'll work that way, definitely. Bit of buck passing going on there now. Well, I think that might be better than that, but this might be a better idea. See how Ken did a management decision, executive management decision there by Ken. He turned around and let them carry on doing it. So it's a good ploy that. He's not responsible if anything goes wrong. Well done, Ken. One or two bits of steel off different projects in the spares department here in the den at Ashton, being moved at the moment, just to make room for it to come across a little bit more. Such a small space, but such a lot done here at Kershawe Walsh Brothers. Neil Armstrong said, "Giant leap, but it's a giant step for mankind." Here at Walsh Brothers, they just get it in and get on with it. Turning rust into miracles with the skills of Ken and Ray. The sponsor there, Steve, doing really well. He's got that great shovel in his hand. It's quite good on the shovel. You ever want to hire a coach? There's the man. Steve from S&O Coaches. If anybody needs to look for him, or you want to hire a coach, there's the man. S&O Coaches. Can't beat that, eh? What an advertisement for him. So here we go. Tricky altering the chain, pulling it out towards the front. Hope he's not going to come back towards me and knock me flying off. Front end to be soon going across, putting into position. It's all interesting stuff. We've even got a local excursion by one of the airlines coming across to have a look what's going on here. Look, it's brought a load of passengers to come and see over Kershawe Walsh Brothers what they're up to. Doing a fly past so you can see what's going on here at the Walsh Brothers den. Tricky at the moment. Putting the lifting jig on. Setting that up to move it across and relocate the chassis and the engine. So I'll watch what I'm doing here within health and safety, that I don't get a mouthful of this. Clear blue skies today. Freezing this morning, by the way, and we're still here doing bits and pieces. Look at that. Ooh, what's your head there, eh? Being very so careful as it goes past the telephone lines and the post. It's all good stuff, this, isn't it? Makes it interesting. I bet you're enthralled, but you're all sat in your chairs now. You can't believe what's going on. Who are these new boys, the Walsh Brothers? Seems to know a lot of people, don't they? The idea is to get the job done. So we're coming back down to earth. Tricky altering the length with the chains, setting it up. The lads inside there working feverishly. Feverishly they're working. So the trolleys underneath the cab, I'll allow it to be pushed out. From here you wouldn't think it was going to come out. If you look at the top of the door, you wouldn't think that they're going to get it through there. But trust me, they haven't done all this hard work to leave it in the den. It will be coming out. So the lifting frame in place now. And Tricky giving Ray, Steve and Ken lift inside to move the BD-2 cab in its present state. Since it's coming to K&R and had a lot of refurbishment done on it, today's the day when it'll be coming back outside again into daylight for the first time on this cold morning on a Saturday. Sorry about the shaking here. I'm not shivering, I'm just freezing. Is the word. We had one of K&R special cups of tea this morning. Somebody underneath there with a torch. I would put good money on it, that'll be Ken. Underneath, down in the bowels of the BD-2 cab. A lot of deliberation going on now. A lot of executive decisions being made at this time of the morning. We should all be thinking about baking butties. The BD-2, of course, if you are watching, 4th, 5th, 6th of May 2013, will be seen going up the A55 out of Manchester towards Llandudno, to Bidoffen Fields, to the 2013 Truck Festival. And of course it's Extravaganza weekend, Victorian Extravaganza weekend at Llandudno. So make sure you're there and you'll see the BD-2. I would say 99.9% finished in its paint, in all its glory. It'll look original again. This is one of the projects that K&R have decided they're going to keep in original colour, so it'll be painted up in Ribble colours. And all the decors will all be as original, so you can see it moving. It's one of these new electric type vehicles. It doesn't need diesel, you know, it's a hybrid. A hybrid truck coming up to the main door. Again, if you look at the gap they've got to get through, you think, is it going to go? Would you dare to doubt the K&R Walsh Brothers that something wouldn't work? We'll get a pool going to see if this is ready for Llandudno, as I was saying earlier on. 4th, 5th and 6th of May. Would you bet against them? That's what I'd like to know. Would you bet against them? Completing this task. When you think that they started in October, and look how far they've come now. A lot of work got into it. A real lot of work. And here we are in February with a cab once again on the move, heading for the doorway. Stops and starts. they'll be cursing me because they'll be saying, could do with him here to give us a lift. What's he doing stood on the back of that truck? More senior executive decisions being made there at the moment. It's hard to believe when I was filming for 15 minutes. Here it is again, we're on the move again. Could this be it? Could this be the start of it? Or have we got a relapse? It's all in the hands of the Walsh brothers. The sponsor Steve and Tricky is in there as well, giving it a good old shove. The wheels on the bogey go round and round. There's a song for you. We're not far off now. You can feel the excitement in the air here, can't you? Or is it me, just cold? I don't know. It's fantastic achievement when you think of what they've actually done. You know, they got the cab in there when it was rotten and falling to pieces, so you only had one chance really to move it. Because any banging and knocking and it would have fell to bits, as it did on its way up from Bellevue, Manchester. Bellevue Coaches, where it arrived on the back of a low loader. If you've had a look at the videos previously, you'll see that arriving on the back of a low loader, and then it was taken off the low loader and the crane was took off on one of the other videos at Bellevue in Manchester, and then it was towed up by the N86 Volvo, that classic vehicle, another renovation project of K&R Walsh Brothers, the N86 Volvo. It was towed up from Bellevue's garage in Stockport to its present position here in Ashton at the Den, the home of K&R Walsh Brothers. So it's just literally at the door now, folks. Tricky pushing away there. Executive decisions being made by Ken. Looking at Ray's hard work and Ken's hard work when they've rubbed down the paintwork on this cab and all the wood that's gone back into it again. Square it up. Nearly there. Any volunteers that could have been here today, you know, look what you've missed, all this excitement. Getting up on a freezing cold Saturday morning. You could have been here helping. Would have treated you to a bacon sandwich. Honestly. So not far now. Final shove is this. It might just drift across. Might just drift across. Front end of it is clear of the door, so that's a positive. Steve Orchard just coming out there. Tricky holding on to the near side. Steve on the offside. Have you noticed where the K&R Walsh brothers are? At the back. At the back there, giving it a good shove. They're not going to let this thing get ruined now, are they? There's no way they're going to let that cab get damaged having all that work done on it. This is what miracles are made of, folks.
Like on the roof now, eh? Think it'll clear?
Just been asked for instructions on what the roof's like. How is it going to clear? Yeah, we've got about 6 inches. We seem to be doing okay. If you hear me scream, I'm only telling him that it's not going to work. I've got a good feeling about this. It's going to definitely come out of there without catching anything. With all the hard work that the guys have done putting this together inside of the den, we don't want anything going wrong now. Hours and hours of work, all part-time, you know. These two guys ever decide to leave their full-time jobs, they're going to be doing these projects in a month, aren't they? You gotta remember that they've both got full-time jobs, and yet they've got time to turn out these projects as good as they do in the short period of time that they do. Is an accolade to K&R Walsh Brothers. They've smashed renovation to pieces, really, haven't they? You know, no two ways around that. They really have done such record time, some of the magic and the renovations that they've done to get where they are today. So it's nearly out, folks. Nearly out, not too far to go. Steve Orchard, and Tricky at the front, Ray and Ken at the back, and it's actually outside now in the daylight. So there you have it. Brought back from the dead to be restored at the den here at K&R Walsh Brothers. Tricky come today with his magical truck with that lifting frame, which is the next stage. Now it'll go over the top of the cab and lift it onto the chassis. More executive decisions being made by Ray and Tricky, making sure that when this frame does go over the top and it's going to lift, that nothing snaps off. Can't be doing with that. That can't happen. Can it? There'll be a few nervous moments here at the den when it finally gets lifted from the floor into fresh air again. So if you see me disappear running down the road out of the way, it was nice knowing you all. Hopefully that won't happen. We know it won't happen. Come on, you've got to be positive, haven't you? No negatives here. No negatives off anybody. We want only positivity. You're not allowed negatives at K&R Walsh. The sun's trying to come out now. Just give you a quick overview of the area where we are. The sun coming up over the Pennines. What a lovely morning it is. Here in Ashton. Okay. So as you've heard, the engine tones pick up on Tricky's truck. There's a tongue twister. The timber's going underneath. Placement of the timber is really important because of balance, obviously. If they get the balance wrong while they're lifting this thing and it goes over, it won't look very good on the resume for anybody who is watching. K&R Walsh Brothers, of course, only do their own vehicles. We did one special vehicle, which was the Blood Bank. It can be seen on TruckNet, which is one of the forums that Nasha, Ian UK, or myself, Ian, one of the K&R crew, do the filming. If you want to have a look on TruckNet and just have a look for nashaianuk.com, that's my username on TruckNet, you'll be able to see the next renovation, the next project that K&R Walsh Brothers are going to be taking on, which is a Jensen truck. It's in Scotland at the moment, but the Jensen truck is the next project for K&R Walsh Brothers. If you have a look on TruckNet, just go on to Google, type in TruckNet in the search, and once you're on TruckNet, just look in the username for nashaianuk.com, and there's an article on there called Jensen Trucks. So if you just look on that site at Jensen Trucks, or even if you want to go on the site at TruckNet and just type in, or just click on one of the posts that says Jensen Trucks, you'll be able to see the next project that's coming into K&R Walsh Brothers. You'll probably find that one will be done in 2 weeks against the normal 3 months. Still delegating here at the moment who's going to take the responsibility to put the wood in. It's all go now by the looks of it. Lifting frame coming down over the top of the cab, the BD-2 cab. It's all fingers crossed now. Raking and Tricky busily putting the chains on. Hopefully this is a successful lift without any situations whatsoever. Ken Walsh overseeing things here. Tricky stood at the back with his remote. Steve Orchard having a final look. As soon as you hear the engine tone start to rise, you'll know that here we go. Tense moments here. It's like waiting for the numbers of the lottery. So far, 3 months of hard work gone into this cab. We don't want things to go wrong where it's all been a waste in a 10-second lift. See how confident I am. Fully confident with my colleagues at K&R Walsh Brothers. Here we go again. Every time you hear that engine tone, it's another inch nearer being raised up. Could be a film this, you know. Somebody one day could take this, put it on the television. Is there any budding producers from these restoration programs that'd like to film down at K&R Walsh Brothers? Would you be brave enough to stand the wrath of Ken? Stereotyping there, you know. It's not really bad. A lot of people say that. Don't get on the wrong side of Ken. It's not true. It's not true. He's having managerial classes to improve himself. He doesn't hit anybody or burn anybody anymore. They do it themselves. It doesn't hurt as much if they do it voluntarily. So we're down to G-clamps now. G-clamps with the chains on the body side of the G-clamps. I can hear you saying, oh no. Once that starts to lift, the rest is in the hands of Tricky. He doesn't know that yet. Ken will let him know later on if it goes wrong. He'll say, who was operating the buttons then? So the tension rises, the anticipation mounts. Ooh, bit of severe finger twitch at this moment in time, folks. Could be disaster. Let's hope Tricky didn't have a drink last night. It is cold here this morning, it's freezing, but I'm glad to see Tricky's got his gloves on. He hasn't got his high vis on though, have you noticed? Here we go, folks. Could this be the moment? Soon find out. She's actually taking the strain. Front end's dipping a little bit. A lot of caution being taken here. Very, very light at the back, really light at the back. So obviously they've got to get the balance right. Maybe the front chains need shortening, so the front comes up before the back. Who am I? I'm just a mere cameraman at the moment. Have I got the best job? You bet I have. I'm not the one responsible for anything that might go wrong. I'm just filming it. Oh, he's lowering that. He's touching the roof now. Touching the roof. It's all on evidence, it's all on video, you know. Just go on, Tricky, you can do it, lad. Go on. Go on, lad. You can see what he's trying to do. He's managed to get that chain on the top ring, so the front will come up a little bit quicker. That lifting beam at the moment is sat on the top of the roof, only just so. There you go, managed to get the top ring in. So here we go again. Take two this time. Chain twisted at the front, Ken just noticed. Well spotted, Ken. If at first you don't succeed, then give it another pull, put another piece of wood on it. Ooh. Take the strain. Is it going to be a success this time around? Careful handling, preparation. Back end still very, very light. Even with giving it that length, it's still very light. Maybe they need Steve Archer's wallet putting on the back end of that just to weigh it down a bit.